Under cover of darkness, the Valiant moved in much closer to the enemy than was possible in daylight. The trap was set. Initially, neither side could see the other. However, the British had a surprise up their sleeves.
So all of a sudden, the whole place lit up. Massive, great searchlights. Zoop! Just like that. Oh dear. That's the reaction, you see. And before we got to the oh dear, whoomph! 3 big ships, 15-inch guns, 15-inch shells, almost at point-blank range, went off. Whoomph! Blowing them to smithereens.
It was really massacre. We had 15-inch guns. The Italians had 8-inch guns, and they were more or less blown out of the water. It is said that, oh, the Italians weren't really very warlike about it. Their guns were trained fore and aft. Well, as they hadn't got radar, and they didn't know that the enemy was close, there was nowhere to point their guns. So I reckon that really lets them off a bit.
And it didn't last long, you know. Minutes, that was all, minutes. And suddenly the lights went out. And they all took a full swerve to starboard and sailed away into the darkness. And there's the burning hulks behind it. Absolutely destroyed.
It wasn't only cruisers that were crippled on the Italian side in the Battle of Cape Matapan. Thinking that the battleship Vittorio Veneto was dead in the water, Admiral Cunningham believed he could easily catch up with her. He wanted the glory of sinking her himself. Although Cunningham couldn't justifiably order ships in contact with the Italian battleship to retire, he could demand that the ships not in contact should withdraw.
We, in the Ajax, with our radar, had a contact, radar contact, at about 10 miles. And if it was, at that time, radar was very inefficient, and 10 miles was a quite remarkable contact. And so the gunnery officer and I, who was an old friend of mine, we said, that obviously must be the Italian battleship. The British commander-in-chief felt sure that she must be within range, and he sent a signal. All forces not in contact with the enemy withdraw to the northeast. And so we said, but we are in contact, the gunnery officer and I, and the captain said, no, I don't think we are. So we withdrew to the northeast. And the Italian battleship was allowed to sneak home at 20 knots without any further trouble from us.
The Vittorio Veneto lived to fight another day. But with much of the Italian navy destroyed in March and large sections of his army captured in North Africa, Mussolini had failed to prove himself as an equal military partner in the fascist Axis. However, Germany didn't seem to be needing much help. Destroying the Italian fleet at Cape Matapan provided the British with a timely morale boost. Earlier in March, the Luftwaffe had launched their spring offensive against British cities, with London suffering worst. Journalist Leslie German was trying to carry on as usual until his office in Fleet Street was bombed.
And there was a big barrier outside, UXB, unexploded bomb, and we had to move out at about 2 in the morning, and we walked down the Strand to the, I think it was the Norfolk Hotel in Howard Street. But that was bombed, this hotel, so we moved across the Strand to the Strand Palace Hotel. Very grand. I'd never been in a hotel. That night, a bomb or something hit the top of the hotel and burst the water tank and flooded the bedroom of the London editor. He was a very pompous old man, very good to me, but I rather enjoyed that.
The bombs were a threat to everyone in London. Even the most popular places to shelter weren't always safe.
The underground was dangerous because of the glass in the windows, so the transport London covered them with netting with brown glue. And they put up notices because the corners were pulled up by passengers. And so they had printed notices. We hope you'll pardon our correction, but the net is there for your protection. So somebody had written up, thank you for the information, but I can't see the bloody station.
Although the tube carriages could be dangerous, the underground stations provided a welcome alternative to the overcrowded shelters.
People of their own volition went on the underground with their bedrolls and blankets and cups of tea. Where people had slept, they left their blankets and their bedrolls, they booked their place, and they were respected.
The Blitz affected every aspect of people's lives, rich as well as poor.
We got a bit blasé about it on the whole. I remember going to the Sweden nightclub one night with a girlfriend, and as we came out, the doorman said, oh, there's a Blitz on. He said, difficult to get a taxi, such a nuisance for regular riders like you.
But even the revellers weren't immune to the Luftwaffe's bombs. London's Café de Paris was packed on the 15th of March 1941.
A bomb fell right into the centre of the Café de Paris in just off Leicester Square, near the Rialto. A man called Snake Hips Johnson, he was an entertainer, and Al Bowley, a singer, were both killed.
2 bombs exploded right above the dance floor, killing 38 people and injuring another 70.
I never personally went to the Café de Paris, but a great friend of mine, an Aria Rossa, was killed in the bomb that scored a direct hit on it.
Even though the rich were affected by the bombs, it was London's East Enders, the Cockneys living around the docks, who took the brunt of the Blitz.
But there was talk in East London of pulling out of the war. After a particularly bad raid, there was nothing people could do, and then Churchill came down with his flat top hat. He was really a most extraordinary person, the right man in the right place at the right time.
And indeed we had to wait until Churchill took over for someone to say things that were in tune with the national spirit at the time.